Hey, what's up, and welcome to the All-In Networker podcast. This podcast started because myself, Dan McCabe, had a question. The question was, how do you build a big team fast in network marketing? So I asked a good mentor of mine, Dr. David Pietsch, who is a Hall of Famer, 250,000 customers in his downline, tens of thousands of representatives, and he just started spilling the beans. Started telling me everything, not just what worked in the past, but what he is doing in the future to really grow and build his business. I said, hey doc, this needs to be a thing. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to turn this into a podcast. So here it is, the secret straight from his mouth into your ears. Whatever we can do to help you and the industry grow is what we're here for. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's get started. Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the All-In Networker podcast. So here once again is Dan McCabe with my co-host, Dr. David Pietsch. How are things out in Las Vegas, Doctor?
Best day of my life so far, Dan. How about you?
Oh, man. Well, I'm still in Minnesota, but it's good. It's the summer. It's warm. We will take it. I'm excited for today's episode. Today's episode, we were talking before the show here a little bit, and to tell the entire audience the truth, sometimes we just need to figure out what it is we want to talk about today. But a topic that's been coming up a lot lately within your team, your organization, something we've had a lot of conversations about recently are the different phases of somebody's network marketing business, and really boiling it down to like three different phases, three different levels, what they need to do first, and then how do they progress to the next level, and then finally, how do they get to the final level? How do they get to that legacy point within their business where their team is growing without them necessarily doing anything at all? So, we were talking beforehand here, and you laid it out pretty bluntly. The first thing people need to learn how to do is sell. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I've been around network marketing a lot, and a lot of people in network marketing like to use the word share because they feel like it doesn't offend people or whatever their thought process might be behind that. But I'm just here to tell you, I've been doing it for a long time, and that's just smoke and mirrors. I mean, that's just people that are they're just lying to you.
The truth.
I'm just going to share it with people, and that sounds good because what happens is 98% of people can't sell. And so they're lying to you to teach you and to make you feel like you can actually make this work I'm just going to share it with a few of my friends. Let me just tell you, McFly, nobody in the real world behind the scenes is making money in network marketing. It's just lollipopping and sharing. It's just not happening.
Oh, I love it when we get you in this mood. I mean, it's just blunt. It is to the point. It is the truth, and it is the truth. And, selling, it's funny how people look at it as such like a bad negative word, but it's not a bad negative word. Selling is just really relaying information and showing somebody the value of what it is you have to the point that it makes sense for them and that they can make a proper decision. So, yeah, I don't like the word sharing either. And it cracked me up when you started saying that, because I think of all the really passive people that are in your organization, people I talk to on a regular basis, and they're always saying that. And it's something that they need to get away from. So I know a lot of people in your organization listen to this. So there's some cold, hard Dr. Pietsch truth for you right there.
Real quick, you got 85% of people in network marketing are female, and I get it. There's differences between males and females. Super. But, when you're out there saying the word share, it allows people to believe that they don't have to get better and grow and develop a skill set that is needed and necessary to win. We've had people on our podcast that use that word share that are probably the best salesmen on planet Earth. And yet they're telling people, oh, you just need to share it. But I'm a stone cold killer when it comes to selling, but not you. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Well, they're using the word share because they're really good at sales and they know that's what's cracking.
That's exactly what it is. And that's my point. There it is.
Yeah. So they're going to use it to an extent, and it might be something that people need to use as part of their hook to open the door to continue that conversation.
If you understand that you're being sold when they use that word, that's what's happening.
Right.
They're telling you that you only have to share when in reality you have to sell. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been saying, in this podcast for people, I get it. The people that are just dipping their toes in network marketing, and they got in because they feel like they just need to share it, and they're probably not listening to this podcast anyways. They're not the people that go and listen to a network marketing podcast. So those of you that would listen to a network marketing podcast, this is for you. It's going to be the blunt, the honest truth. You need to learn to sell. That's the first phase of getting good at this business, the first phase of building an organization. It's not sharing. It is selling. Maybe you're using the word sharing from time to time because you get really good at sales, but I've been saying for 15 years, probably plus. I mean, I guess I've been around this industry for 13 years. So I guess I'll go 13 years. 13 years I've been around this industry. And prior to that, I was a student of business. I was a student of entrepreneurship, and I'd read the sales training books. I would take courses. I would go to seminars. I would spend all this money. But if you really want to learn how to sell, this industry teaches you better than any other industry on the face of the planet how to sell. The training's there. It's free. They bring in the best trainers of the world because they get it. If they can teach you how to sell, their business is going to do better. So, it's one of the best places to learn how to pick up that skill. And once you have this skill, you can take it with you absolutely anywhere.
Yep. So get out there and start telling yourself the truth.
Right. So understand that when you're going through this first phase and you want to build a big organization, you got to learn to sell. You got to learn somewhere along the process. You got to learn that it's going to be a grind. You're going to go put in a lot of personals. You're going to have to drag a lot of people through the mud with you. And I use that line because I heard it from you. I remember when I was building with you and you were teaching me or mentoring me on how to get up to a certain rank. You're like literally just like, hey, you need to lasso up everybody behind you and you need to drag them through the mud all the way there, which means I had to do everything myself. And I understood that. And that's part of it. That's part of the initial grind. That's part of the graduation journey that you must go on as a network marketer, is going through all of that. All right. So I'm going to jump into, I'll talk about the second phase here a little bit, and you can chime in on that, because we're going to assume here that some people are getting this message and they are working through that first phase, or maybe they're through that first phase, but they're stuck because right now they've put in piles and piles and piles of personals, but because they can't get any duplication, their team isn't growing as fast as it should be or as fast as it could. Because at that point, that next phase, you really got to hit some kind of level 1 leadership. So what does that look like?
Well, I mean, in network marketing, you get a lot of people that start putting a handful of people in, have, some sort. I mean, look, they don't stick around very long if they don't get a handful of people in relatively soon. What most people do is they give it a try, college try, give it a try, and if they don't put in 1, 2, 3, 4 people relatively quickly, they just fade away and they won't be around too much longer. It's the people that kind of mom and pop it. They get a few here, a few there. They're going painfully slow. Their team never takes off because they're not going fast. Their team's not going to go fast because they're not winning. Their team can't win. So they're just kind of stuck in no man's land. That is a huge percentage of the people in network marketing. So again, I don't think until a person makes a decision to go all in, and to go all in means, who you are as a person. When you're making a sale in network marketing, they're looking at you. Who's doing the inviting? If Warren Buffett's doing the inviting, okay. If Tony Robbins or Robert Kiyosaki's doing the inviting, different than you, McFly. So let's elevate your own game. Let's have some certainty. Let's have some passion. Let's have, this enthusiasm that is permeating through you, and it transfers to your team. I set all the records in my company. That's why the first year I was in, we had 9 out of 10 rookies of the year that year. I went fast. They went fast. I was winning. They were winning. You got to make that decision to go all in, and your team will essentially do what you do.
Yeah. And I look at a lot of different companies, and I look at a lot of comp plans, and I try to become a student of that all the time. And typically network marketing companies all set up exactly the same. I mean, the comp plans might look different. There might be a few different things in there that are unique to each one. But at the end of the day, really, there is this level where you must put a lot of people in. You need to stick a lot of people in, but eventually you need to start sharing that vision to the point where other people start sticking a lot of people in. So how do you get those people who are starting to raise their hand on your team? So you got 200 people on your team, which is kind of like, you can grind your way to 200 people, but then once you get to those 200 people, how do you get to the point where you start picking some of them up and showing them how to do what you just did?
Well, you got to identify the ones that are serious. I mean, the ones that are core, the ones that are doing all the things that that they're supposed to be doing. They're doing the activity. They're, showing up to the trainings. They're working on themselves. It's a priority in their life. They're getting results. for me, the word I'm always looking for, Dan, is clone. I am looking to clone myself all over the place. So really, it's more so, who is this individual that has identified themselves to me that I can just pour myself into? Because I want to make them a little mini me. I can think of, over the years, I've been doing it for 13 years, the company I'm in, I probably got about 13 people that are just exactly like me. And a lot of them have gone beyond me now at this point. They're still hungry. They still have that eye of the tiger. They're just all day, every day, just ranking up. But, they sound like me. They look like me. They shave their head like me. They've just wanted to be like me. And that's really what it is. It's, I've inspired other people that this is worth getting good at. I try to find people that are 10s, and I just teach them how to do network marketing. Rather than doing this over here as a career, I want to shift your focus to show you that it is a better way to do it in network marketing. And I just will it into existence for them. I do everything I can possibly do to make it happen for that person.
All right. And yeah, sorry there. I muted myself, so I think you caught that one, but I had a 4-year-old wander in. These quarantine times it's fun recording podcasts when the kids are wandering around. But what I did here, and I heard this in, another leaders within your company, one of their audios once upon a time, that if you want to be really successful in this industry, you need to shave your head. So,
Dan, I can just tell you that almost all the leaders on my team have shaven their head, both male and female. So they are definitely drinking the Kool-Aid on this team over here.
So, beyond that, what else I got out of it? And I understand because I've seen you do it before. And so we're talking about level 1 leadership right now. Just so you understand these phases that I'm trying to work the listener through, and that the listeners hoping they get out of it. That first phase is bleeding like crazy. Second phase is level 1 leadership. It's what you talk about. You pour everything that you have into that person. If somebody raises their hand and they're putting for the and you know that they have, you're putting everything into them to help them grow and build and get through that period where they're dragging an entire team through the mud. But at some point, they need to hit, level 1 leadership themselves, which means you need to hit level 2 leadership. And that's kind of where the legacy is actually built. It's when you can start teaching those people that after they got through that first phase, you grind them through that first phase, but then you need to teach them how they can go and help the next person get through that phase. So I know one of the more popular leaders on your team, he had a line, and maybe it wasn't his line. I don't know. I heard him say it, but it was very simple. His first level of leadership is that you got to teach people to do what you just did, while the second level of leadership is to teach them how to teach what you just showed them how to do. And as soon as you can do that, you can go to the beach. As soon as you can do that, that's when the team starts building with or without you.
Yeah, that's just exactly what it is. So, it's just like a curriculum, in network marketing, there's just, you got to cover the alphabet soup, the invite, the close, the objections, the promoting the big events, 3-way calls, edification, Zooms. Just the basic how-tos. Okay. Then, the people are going to go out there, and eventually, some sooner, some later, but you can take it to the door. It's right around the corner. You're going to fall down, or you're going to get knocked down. So, okay, can you get back up? This is why you got to read the books and listen to the audios and go to the trainings and be around the campfire and take all this knowledge and just do it day in and day out. Again, with a goal in mind of just pick somebody that you think is a really good professional network marketer and just look at what they look like, and just become just like that person. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you've got to be the role model. I can just tell you on my team, because I did it all day, every day, the best. In my free time, I didn't have all day, every day to do it, but all of my free time was, okay, I'm going to make this happen for 1,000 days. I had an awful lot of people that were working really hard, but we went to every single training event. And so I was able to, find a handful of people like myself relatively quickly, which allowed me to, go to stratospheric level relatively quickly. For a lot of people, that doesn't happen, because number one, they're not serious enough. They don't put enough fuel into their own fire. So that belief never gets transferred to other people. But if you can just understand that it is your vision probably that will make more of an impact on people's lives of why, this is it for me. So many people have said to me, Pietsch, Dr. Pietsch, why are you so excited about your company? What is it that you see that I don't see? You better have that kind of belief that gets transferred to these high level people, so then they can go out there and build a little army themselves. And so it's just like we're building this army of people who are just like me. Again, we're cloning. I'm cloning myself. The whole thing is about that.
Right. And And you talked about the vision there, and we were just talking about this as well, because as you are building and growing new teams and things like that, so much of doing that is you getting hyper clear on the vision for what that team is, because that's one of the things that's really important, is being clear on the vision, so clear on yourself. If we take this all the way back to the very beginning of this podcast, when we're talking about selling, and people fear that word to a certain extent, a lot of people fear it to a big extent, actually. But it's really just, if you're hyper clear on your vision, the rest of that becomes so much easier. When you're hyper clear on your vision, you find people that want to follow. You find people that want to do what you are doing, what you did, what you're going to do. Because when you're hyper clear on it, when you can feel it inside of your bones, it comes out through the words that you say, through the conviction in your voice. And it gives them a real sense that this guy's the real deal. He knows where he's going. She knows where she's going. They know what they're building. They know what they're doing. So it's, get clear on that. And I don't know, so much. I mean, this industry doesn't have to be hard. At the end of the day, it's a few basic things that need to get done. And it's really about the consistency, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, just what I'm thinking right off the top of my head is, there's a lot of people on the other side of it where they get something going, and they might find some superstar, maybe a couple of them on their team, or just people that are just doing well, and their team grows. But because their own leadership level is not there, what's naturally going to happen is their team is going to fall back to their level of leadership. I can think of so many people on my team that have big teams, but they're just not ready yet. I mean, their team level might be at like a 7, but because they're a 3, their team is going to come back to being a 3. Again, you have to have extreme accountability. You got to get yourself as close to a 10 as you possibly can. It has nothing to do with what you look like. It's what's in your heart. These are all skills that can be learned, and you either have that or you're working towards it, or you're not. Because I'll promise you one thing, if you're not, your team will come back to where you're at.
Oh, and it's interesting you say it like that, because I have seen that, firsthand, time and time again, where people think that they get a rock star on their team, that person's just going to carry their team. But rock stars, even if they can go out there and build really big, they don't want to have to do it by themselves. People are constantly looking to ascend, and they want to work together. We're social people by nature. We want to be able to work with and run with people that are like-minded, that have the same vision, the same conviction. If I recruited a rock star, if I recruited you, and then you could tell, even if my words didn't say it, but if you could tell that I was basically saying telepathically, all right, now go build my team. And then I just sit back. Are you really going to do that? Are you really going to be motivated to do that? I mean, you were successful when you built your team. The gentleman above you, the guy who worked really, really hard to recruit you, was building and growing. And then you were able to build and grow some leaders underneath you. And you just formed this pack, basically, of people all running the same direction, same speed, same vision, same goals, and you got it done.
You get a handful of charismatic leaders. If you just look at how we built my team, my sponsor was a college football coach. I was a college football quarterback. And the first guy that I got on my team is just a phenomenal athlete. They're just people that are used to playing roles, coach and player, and, learning how to get along and playing together. And just like, it's like an event. It really is like a sporting event. We have to go out there. We have to win the game every single day, and we're people that can bring people together. That's why I love people in sports, because they know how to play team with other people. If you don't play sports, you're kind of a fish out of water. You got to learn that skill over here.
You got to learn it, but it's like you said, it's a learned skill. They're all learned skills. And with the internet these days, YouTube, all in networker trainings, free courses we have on our websites, wink, wink. There's so much opportunity for knowledge out there. Just go back and listen to all the previous episodes of this podcast that we have done. There's so many great leaders and people that we have brought on that just keep dropping knowledge. Like, the knowledge to learn how to do this business is all over the place. And there's no excuses not for going out there and learning these skills. The only reason people don't learn these skills, it's not because they can't find the videos to watch. It's not because they can't get to the training. It's because they don't get out there and do it and practice it.
Yep.
And
it's not a priority. They just don't really want it.
Right.
That's the one thing we can't, give to you. You got to really want it. You got to want it probably worse than you think that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So, all right. Well, there you have it, folks. Today, we talked about the 3 different phases of your business. First phase, you got to learn to sell. Don't think sell's a bad word. Selling is nothing more than putting something in front of somebody and expressing the value. If you've got something of value, if you've got something that you believe in so much that you think everybody else should have it, then you're okay. The only time selling becomes dirty is if you don't like the product that you're selling. If you don't believe in what it is that you have, then it gets a little weird. But you're not in network marketing. You didn't join a company because you don't love the product. You don't love the direction of the company. You don't love the vision. If you're in the company, you need those things. They're just a given. And if you have those things, it becomes easy. It's just sharing something that you're passionate about, and nobody will ever get mad at you for that. And then the first level of leadership, after you grind through that initial sales phase, show somebody else how to do it. Continue to show people how to do that. And as you get them to the point where you were at, then it's about teaching them to teach. So anyways, that being said, hop on over to the allinnetworker.com website and check out some of the free trainings there. I appreciate you guys, as always, for listening. If you got some value, please make sure that you share this and get the word out. So thank you, guys. Hey, thanks for listening to the All In Networker podcast. Dr. David Pietsch and I greatly appreciate it. If you receive some value or you know somebody that would receive some value, please share this episode with them. We want to pick up the entire industry, help serve the entire industry of network marketing. We believe that when other network marketers win, we all win. So on top of that, if you'd like to check out some of our free trainings, you can go to allinnetworker.com. Otherwise, please just rate, subscribe to this episode, this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thanks a lot.